Steph, thanks so much. Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida took action this week prior to Hurricane Milton and in the wake of Hurricane Helene, introducing a bill that would authorize $8 billion sent to Small Business Administration for hurricane relief efforts. And Congressman Moskowitz joins us now. He previously served as the director of Florida's Emergency Management Division. Congressman, thanks for being here this morning. You obviously have vast experience, given your previous work with emergency management in Florida in dealing with the aftermath of these hurricanes and the preparation for them. What are you seeing and hearing in your home state today?
Well, thanks. No, thanks for having me. What we're hearing is obviously a lot of people are saying that, some of the worst that they expected with the storm surge in Tampa didn't happen. And so some people feel that they dodged the bullet. And for those areas, maybe they did. But there are other areas of Florida that really took a hit. This was really a triple punch. And by that, I mean there's going to be storm surge damage in the south, along the coast, Port Charlotte, in that area. And then there's going to be significant wind damage, Siesta Key and in Tampa, St. Pete, obviously. But then there was significant tornadoes. That's going to be the story, I think, of Hurricane Milton. 126 tornado warnings, the most in Florida history, the second most ever since the 2011 Alabama tornado outburst. And so we have damage on the east coast of Florida where there weren't even tropical storm force winds except for these dramatic tornadoes. But right now, I know the Florida Division of Emergency Management and Governor DeSantis are, marshaling all the resources they've been staging. Right now, it'll be swift water rescue time, getting to people to rescue them from any water, and also trying to get in medical supplies for anyone who needs help. And then, just like Florida always does, we'll band together and we'll rebuild, just like we did after Hurricane Ian 2 years ago.
So, Congressman, despite some of the garbage and conspiracy theories we've heard from certain corners of our political world, we are hearing from mayors, we are hearing from governors, we're hearing from officials, some of your colleagues, in fact, in Congress, across party lines, saying that the coordination with FEMA and state and local officials has been very good. Even this morning, some of the mayors saying they're getting phone calls right away. They're getting surprise calls from President Biden himself. Can you speak to how that is actually going, despite some of the disinformation out there?
Yeah, no, the answer is it's working in Florida like it's always worked. The difference is that because of the ridiculous misinformation nonsense, right now people are paying more attention to it. But Florida and this administration have a lot of history of working together. Again, you saw that in Hurricane Ian just 2 years ago. So FEMA is on the ground. You have the administrator here in Florida, in the EOC in Tallahassee, right? That is extremely rare. So the fact that she's there means that Florida will be able to get what they need from FEMA even quicker. And so, yes, the president is engaged. I know the governor and the president are talking like they did in Hurricane Ian, right? And so everything is working the way it has always worked here in Florida. But, yes, when you have people, in Congress like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's head of the Mensa caucus, talking about a weather machine. I mean, I'm just curious, when Donald Trump had access to that weather machine, why did he send a hurricane to Puerto Rico, right? So this is the silly time that we live in, unfortunately. It's the political season where the election's in a month. But it's very dangerous to do this in the middle of a disaster when people are trying to figure out whether they should leave their home and trust government and listen to government institutions who are telling them, please take your family, take your pets, take your valuables and leave. And we have people undermining those government institutions. It will get people killed.
So, Congressman, you have proposed legislation that would spread the risk around when it comes to using federal bonds to mitigate the insurance burden. We've been talking all morning how expensive insurance has become in Florida. There's some thought that maybe some insurance companies will stop offering coverage to people who live there. Some Republicans have pushed back pretty quickly and said, well, it's not fair to ask someone in Nebraska to help subsidize someone who lives on the coasts. Can you explain a little more about your proposal and an answer to that counter?
Well, first of all, we subsidized a lot of things in Congress. We subsidize the oil industry. We subsidize the corn industry, right? We do a lot of subsidies. So there are some states that are always helping out other states. We live in a country together. That's number one. Number two is that's what FEMA does. FEMA takes federal money, right, and helps city and counties recover. Some states don't have anywhere near the disasters that a California or a Texas or a Florida suffer. The bill I proposed specifically wouldn't raise the national deficit at all. It wouldn't use any taxpayer money, in fact, and I crafted it that way to avoid that conversation. What I'm suggesting is right now insurance rates in Florida and other places are going up 25% because insurance companies are buying the 1 in 1,000 reinsurance for these major 1 in 1,000 year events, and that's driving up the cost. What I'm suggesting is we take that 1 in 1,000 year reinsurance off the plate from insurance companies, and we give that over to government bonds that states can opt into. It's optional. They don't have to do it. And through those government bonds, they can call those bonds down to help when we have this 1 in 1,000 year events. If we don't do that, it's not just going to be Florida. Louisiana saw 2 Category 4 storms in the same season. Texas has seen Hurricane Harvey. It's going to be the whole Gulf Coast, and then it's going to wind up going up the East Coast, and it's going to happen also in fire-prone areas. So this is a national issue. And if we don't address it, you're going to see seniors who live in condominiums and HOAs who lived on fixed incomes not be able to afford where they currently live because those fees are going to have to go up in order to cover the insurance on their buildings.
All right, Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida. A lot to think about long term, but in the short term, we're sending our very best to your state. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Join us now.